Welcome to So Very Easy. My name is Laura and it is time to get the Casper bed runner quilted, and it is going to be a fast pattern because I want to get it done. And I have found a great coordinating fabric to put on the back, and of course it is the Casper fabric. And because the fabric is already dark, I'm going to use a dark batting, the black batting. The one I'm going to use is from Fairfield, and it's 60% cotton and 40% polyester. I like using a black batting when I'm using a lot of black fabric because it makes the black fabric very, very rich in color. The black actually enhances the black color, so I'm going to use that. Another reason I'm going to be using the black batting is, well, the thread that I've chosen. For the back, I am going to use a all-purpose black thread, but for the front I want to give it some shine, and since it's Halloween, orange is a perfect color. There's a lot of orange in the quilt, so the orange is going to work out great. And this is a Floriani embroidery thread, and it's a PF 535. And I'm really excited about using this color. Now the quilt pattern I'm going to be using is going to consist of moon and clouds, because I figured the eyes on the quilt would be cute peeking through moons and clouds, and well, it's a quick and easy pattern to do. Now I am going to be using a cone, and I'm going to be using it horizontal. So the bottom is quite large, so I am going to stick in one of these little cone inserts right into the bottom, and that is going to equal the size here, so the thread is going to stay even for me. And because I'm going to free motion quilt, I'm going to use the 9014 machine needle. You will need two shapes: the moon shape and a cloud shape. If you can do these two shapes, you can do this pattern. So we're going to start with the C, go back on the C, and then just do some clouds. And you can do as many clouds as you want or as little as you want. Then you're going to do a C again, come back off of your C, so now you have that extra moon, and make some clouds. Change your shape of your moon and do more clouds. Now your clouds can go in any direction that you want. If you go inside, you sort of get stuck and you would have to reshape your clouds or whatever position's there until you can work your way out, which is fine. It's just a lot easier to do the C going to the outside. And if you get into an area where the quilt is finished, just follow the shape until you get to an area that you can start again. And following the shape, you are going to be able to get anywhere you need to go. You can follow the cloud shape, you can follow the moon shape, and you can come back until you get into a position where you can redo your clouds. If you've had to stop and start again, you can start anywhere that there's a larger space that you don't necessarily want, and start with the moon again and do your clouds. Your clouds can go anywhere, your moon can go anywhere. You don't even have to start with the moon. You can start with a cloud and then do a moon. So basically, you're just going to do little fluffy clouds and moons. I would definitely keep the pattern very large. I like to practice using a piece of paper with a Sharpie or something that is very large. If you use a pen or a pencil, your brain thinks to do something small like you're writing. So this sort of frees the mind from what it normally does. If you do something small, well, you're going to be here a long time. So go big and make your moon and clouds. To set up my machine, I have dropped the feed dogs and I've put my quilting foot on. And in my case, I'm using the stitch regulator, which is great because it keeps up with me and slows down when I need it to slow down. And even though the machine can knot itself, I like to find a point that will be blended very well in the quilt so you're not going to see the knot. And I do like to pull up my thread and knot it by hand. So both of my threads have come up and they're going to be kept out of the way. And I'm going to start quilting and just keep these out of the way. I'm going to start with my moon, then clouds. Go right back into another moon, and then clouds. You can follow your clouds back and do another moon. Now you can see the clouds are quite big. They're at least 2 to 3 fingers, and that's going to cover enough space. You need to have the quilting close enough together so that batting is not going to shift, but you still can do a very large pattern with the moons and the clouds. When you have finished the pattern, inspect all of the edge and make sure that you don't have a lot of large gaps. If that's the case, go in and just stitch some moons or some circles that would represent clouds. It will match the rest of it, but it won't leave all of this open, and it makes for a nicer binding. So I have a moon and I have some clouds. I keep my spaces anywhere between 2 to 3 fingers big, and that seems to be a really good measurement as you are going along. The Floriani thread is beautiful because it is got a bit of a shine to it and it blends well with all of the colors. And by using the black on the back, it blends in. You really don't notice it. So it'll make it a nice reversible bed runner. A moon and cloud quilting pattern. It's quick and it's easy. You can make it large and you can also make the same pattern very small. Thank you for joining me today on So Very Easy. Feel free to subscribe, and as always, come on back. Let's see what we're sewing next time in the sewing room. Bye for now.